Welcome to the season 5 special of AfterMat, the AfterMat Awards. I am your host, the People's Champ Cal, and alongside me as always, I have my tag team partner, the Glamorous Anjulie. What's going on, Delisha? Oh wait, are you on mute? Can you guys hear her? Because I can't hear her. No, I can't hear you. Is your mic out? Maybe just unplug it and plug it in again. Like, cause you have the USB one, right? While she's doing that, could you guys hear me fine? Yeah, you can't hear Del? Yeah. I think she's fixing her mic. Also, we do have a third member joining us. I think... Oh, now I hear some sound. There you go. Okay, welcome, Del. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I was just saying, there's a case of the Mondays over here. Rose woke up in chill violence, and I hurt my ankle somehow, and I don't know when or how that happened, but yeah, it's Monday.
Yeah, it's definitely the ankle lock that Ronda Rousey is learning to do again from Kurt Angle. That's probably what it is. Also, we do have another member joining us in the beginning. I think he's just starting up his computer now, getting it started because he just got off work. It's Slatermaaan. If you guys remember him, he's another member of our stable. He's joining us again for the AfterMat Awards as he did last year, I believe, or was it 2 years ago? But he's joining us again for the AfterMat Awards. And as soon as he gets his computer started up, he's having a minor Discord issue. There he is in the chat. Welcome, Slater. And welcome to the chat. We have Eric, who you know from... here earlier on, the early seasons of AfterMat, the Hitman, as well as Bugs. Rachel, how are you? Welcome. So I guess before we start the AfterMat Awards, we did add a few this year. Took away a few because we had the same person winning every year for the entrance of the year, I believe. So we got rid of that one. I think we got rid of another one. I can't remember what the other one we got rid of was. Delisha, do you remember what the... Oh, Finisher, right? I think it was Finisher. So I think we got rid of that one as well. But we added 2 new ones, which we'll get to in a little while. But if you guys have any other suggestions after seeing the awards, if you want to see any awards next year being added to this, let us know. But let me just give you a brief rundown of how the AfterMat Awards work. Our season for the AfterMat consists of, or is bookended by, kind of like the WrestleManias in a way, where our season begins with the Raw after the previous WrestleMania and ends with the WrestleMania coming up. So our season finale of Season 5 was WrestleMania 38. So our season 6 will begin, or I guess kind of technically began, with the Raw after WrestleMania 38, and Season 6 will carry over from the Raw after WrestleMania 38 till WrestleMania 39. But the first pay-per-view we'll cover in that Season 6 is WrestleMania Backlash, which will be held on May 8th, so you'll see us on May 9th, start kicking off Season 6. So we've had 5 glorious seasons of AfterMat, and we want to thank you guys for sticking by us. At the end of every year, we like to have a little award special to maybe tip our caps to things that we enjoyed throughout the season, and stuff like that. Delisha, any other things you want to say about our seasons of AfterMat before we get into the awards? Yes.
It feels like just yesterday.
I know, right? It goes fast because, it's like we only have... I guess this year we had fewer pay-per-views, but when we had those double pay-per-views per month, those years seemed pretty long to us because we had Raw pay-per-views and SmackDown pay-per-views throughout the years, and that took a while. Welcome, Entertained. How are you? All right. Well, I can't really start because the first award is Slater, so maybe we should have planned that better. But I mean, we got everyone to choose what they want to do, so he happened to choose the first one. So I don't know what else we could possibly do for that while we wait. You got an ETA, Slater, on how long you'll be? Because I could kind of skip the first award, but I can't do it without me hiding the screen. So I'd have to hide the screen somehow, which I don't have a button for that on here. But I could do it myself, I guess. I don't have a quick button, but I could figure out how to do it myself. But let me give him a second to answer. How long? If he's giving me a few seconds, we can just, vamp. If not, we could go to Delisha's for the second award. See? Fewer, yes! Did you see how I wrote that into your script too? That's funny. Fewer pay-per-views, yeah, so... My grammar is better because of Stannis. But yeah, I do prefer fewer pay-per-views.
Yeah, it's definitely better, more watchable, and not feeling so strained. Not just because doing a podcast, but just being a viewer in and of itself. And I feel like the storylines progress better when it's not a pay-per-view every 2 weeks.
I know. I like, and plus sometimes like when they skip months too, and they don't really skip months, but like WrestleMania is like they lessen the amount, like because they have a bigger payoff, like bigger storyline build, which you love storylines, so having the more time between pay-per-views also helps build storyline in most cases. I want to say most, but not all.
I was going to speak of pay-per-views. They're adding a pay-per-view for in Cardiff, Wales, in England. But I wouldn't say it's first time in like 30 years the pay-per-view is taking place.
The first UK stadium show in like 30 years, I think.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it going to be Survivor Series? I thought it was Survivor Series.
No, because that one's in September. The England one, I think.
Oh.
Because they moved SummerSlam up to July.
July 30th, so now there's going to be 2 pay-per-views in July.
Oh boy. Well, we'll see. Maybe it might be one of those. We'll see if it's like a real pay-per-view though, because it could be like one of those Saudi pay-per-views that we usually don't cover.
They said pay-per-view or premium one or whatever. But.
Yeah, but remember we don't really cover the Saudi ones either, unless they're the legit like elimination chamber.
Yeah, that was more moral reasons than actual.
Maybe let's try going to the second one. Let me hide my screen so they don't give away the winners, and we'll go a little bit out of order and go to Delicia's award first. So let me see. Let's see if this hides this screen right here. If I go to this, oh wait, then I can't skip the pictures. Damn it! All right. Can I skip the pictures? I don't think so. So how am I gonna do this without giving away what the winner? Oh wait. Let me see something. No, that doesn't work. Okay, well no wait. I don't know how to jump ahead without showing it off. Let's see. Slatermaaan is. Did you say anything in the chat yet? No, right? I would have to check my Discord. Maybe he's messaging me on Discord and I can't see because I have my.
It's not in the group. It's not in the group. Discord for sure.
So let me check the Discord before I. No. If you can do it from your phone, if it works from your phone, Slatermaaan, that's fine too. Because until let's just try to get your first award out of the way. Then I think you have some time. Let me look how your next award is after that.
I mean, people in the chat. I don't know if we have anyone from England, but are you guys excited for like a different, arena venue than what we're used to at some of like the stadiums of the U.S. We now have a stadium in the UK that we can kind of, and you get those cool UK fan chants that always happens. I think that always happens when they go to a UK event, which is always fun to hear. So I think it'll be fun. I don't know what the name of it is, or if it's one that we already know, or if they're gonna come with a new one like they did for like day one. But it's kind of cool just to have a different pace, so to speak. I say, who knows? We might get Walter versus Roman Reigns.
Oh, that would be like pretty bad.
It's good stuff.
I told you I am not.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a man by his given name. No, I'm just kidding. Gunter, whatever.
Well, now that he's Gunther in like main roster, but in NXT he was still Walter, and I believe he might be up for an award this year. I'm not sure. Still no word from Slater, huh? Let me check. I don't see it in the Discord either, right? You don't see it on your end? Let me message him. I just told him he could use his phone if he wants, if that's the case. Alright. I could try to go through it fast without anyone seeing it, but that's the problem. Let me give him 1 minute to respond.
Yes, go ahead and use your phone.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Use your phone. Just join in the call. There he is. Alright. Alright, so yeah, I forgot to mention one more thing. That's the one thing. there's Slater. Like I said, that's our third member of our broadcast team tonight. But there are also a few people that I'd like to thank for the awards because they did help create the ballot as well as vote on the awards. First and foremost, I want to thank Will of Firefox because he was also supposed to join us for the awards tonight, but he started his new job today, so congratulations on that. So he could not join us, unfortunately, but fortunately for him, he started a new job. So, but he helped out by taking part. So we split. There's I think about like 12 awards or more than 12, but it's split up to 12. So we each had 3 awards, but unfortunately he couldn't do it. However, he still wrote the script for the ones he chose, and we now divided those 3 awards amongst the 3 of us. So we're each doing 4 now. But thanks to Will for doing that. And then for the people who voted as well, we have people like behind the scenes who are, like Joe, our the man in the rafters, Joe. We also have Skye Inc, the Moon Knight, who you've seen on the show several times. Who else voted? Sidewalk, Closed. We had Entertained as well, who's here in the chat. And am I missing anybody? Slater obviously voted because he's here. And Delisha and myself, and I think that's it for voting. I hope I don't forget anybody for who voted for the ballots and all the award winners. We had about 7 people vote, so myself, Delisha, Joe, Slater, Entertain, Skye, and Sign. Okay, yeah, I got everyone. All 7 people voted. Yeah, there you go. And then that's pretty much it. So thank you all for helping out. And I'm sorry, Slater, you ready to present your first award?
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Well, all right, welcome.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. So let me go ahead and introduce the first. The first award is for the promo of the year. This is for actual, not the person on the mic, but the actual promo itself of the year. And Slater, go ahead and take it away. It's a new. Oh, it's also to mention this is the first time this award is being awarded.
So nominees for promo of the year are Big E, after winning the WWE title, which he won against Bobby Lashley after cashing in Money in the Bank for the WWE title. He thanked everyone who supported him in the beginning, that way back even in NXT days, as well as thanking Luke Harper, John Hooper, Brody Lee, all up in the heavens, which was a very emotional moment and real big pop, and it was really good. The second nominee would be Edge's challenges to WrestleMania, which Edge has been having a career of a lifetime after coming back from surgery and still able to revitalize the character he has and start to this new darker Edge that's coming out, no pun intended, is going as far as even changing his theme, which we're so used to, and it's possibly looking forward to something we're looking forward to coming in the future. Third nominee is Roman becoming the Tribal Chief, which after he defeated Jey Uso way back in the Hell in a Cell, and I believe it was an I Quit match. Basically, after he's holding him, he was telling him to address him as the Tribal Chief, and after that, he was given the Ula Fala, if I pronounced that wrong, forgive me, by the Wild Samoans, and after that, he was starting to solidify himself as head of the table, and that whole movement has just gone way beyond that I thought it was going to make it, and it's just excellent, and just revitalized his babyface career into being a heel, which is just amazing. And the final nominee would be Cena, John Cena versus Roman Reigns. This promo between these two guys it was excellent compared to way back when Roman fought Cena a couple of years ago, that Roman couldn't keep up to Cena at his level. And compare that to now, it's a whole it was just way better. And he was keeping up with them. And so for that, they had a great mic battle and a great match at SummerSlam. And for the winner of the promo of the year is Cena versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah, so this one, actually, let me give you the breakdown of the vote. We had 3 votes for this. We had 2 votes for Edge's challenge, 1 vote for Roman becoming the Tribal Chief, and 1 vote for Big E after the title win. So this is pretty split up evenly, 3-2-1-1. Remember, all the votes should add up to 7 for the 7 people voting. So yeah, it was pretty fairly split, and I thought it was a good victory. I think Roman kind of had the advantage because he's in two of the nominees here, so that was pretty good. But Delisha, what would you think? Do you think this is worthy of it for 2 great people on the mic? Do they put up a good promo?
Yeah, definitely. Those two people, or as they call them, the most polarizing figures in the WWE universe, really brought their A game this time around, especially when just letting Reigns like be, I guess, well, not be himself, but like take control of his promos now instead of it being totally scripted. And then Cena just being Cena, they really played off each other really great, and they kind of are on like equal footing now as their roles in the company have now been elevated. Where Reigns is in that Cena role. I mean, he was before, but now it's like he's taking that to the next level, and it turned turned out to be one of the greater nominees we had on the ballot this year.
Yeah, for two solid people, like, well, I can't say two people. Arguably, Cena's one of the best people ever on the mic. And like Slater mentioned in his breakdown of the award, or the nominees, I mean, like, the first time they met, Cena, like, broke the fourth wall and mocked Roman Reigns for his inability to speak well on the mic. So this was a huge turnaround, a 180, and it was well deserved. I think I think a lot of help from Paul Heyman, with mic skills and all that. So it's very well done. So let's move on to our second award. It's for the Female Next Gen Superstar of the Year. This is for the breakout superstar or the female superstar that is making it big in the NXT. And I believe Delicia's covering this. And this is naturally your award, right? Or did you get this from Will?
Oh yeah, no, this was mine.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so the nominees for female next gen, or in next gen, for NXT next gen. Just in case you guys didn't get that part. First up, we have Dakota Kai, the New Zealand. Sorry, I can read. The New Zealand native has spent this past season, AfterMat season that is, turning on her partner Raquel Gonzalez, and then entering the Dusty Rhodes Cup with a new partner, Wendy Chu. But she was also, after a while, teamed back up with Raquel after Wendy was attacked during their, I believe it was the semifinals of the Dusty Cup. She's also a two-time tag team champ and has shown why she is still the captain of #Team Kick. Next up, we have Cora Jade. Cora won the hearts of the WWE Universe this past War Games match, where she took a huge bump to help get their team the win. And since then, this skater girl has proven that she can go toe to toe with some of the best of the NXT roster, including the likes of Mandy Rose and Raquel Gonzalez herself. Also, speaking of Mandy, some would say coming down from Raw down to NXT would be a step down for Superstar, but not for Miss Rose. She not only formed the dominant group Toxic Attraction, she beat Raquel Gonzalez for the Women's Championship and has held that title for now 174 days. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we have Raquel Gonzalez, who defeated the dominant Io Shirai at last year's Stand and Deliver, and Big Mommy Cool has taken over that domination of all challengers, including her former and now current still tag team partner. It's complicated, guys. After losing her title to Mandy, Gonzalez then found success with our other nom, Cora Jade, and then they successfully, like I said before, won their War Games match, and then made it all the way to the semifinals of the Dusty Cup. So a lot of great females here, but there can only be one winner, and that winner is Dakota Kai, Miss Team Kick herself.
As for the breakdown on this, Dakota Kai garnered 4 votes, Raquel Gonzalez garnered 1 vote, Mandy Rose garnered 2 votes, and Cora Jade unfortunately garnered 0 votes. As I see that I think her stardom in NXT has been short-lived because she just recently became a bigger name star coming to the front line after War Games. Are you surprised I knew that? I think that's kind of surprising because I don't really watch NXT, but I did watch War Games, and she did put on a show there. Slater, I don't know if you watch NXT that much, but what do you think of the Female Next Gen Superstar of the Year? Oh, did we lose you on audio? I think we lost you on audio. You might have to if you're on your computer, you might have to unplug your mic and plug it back in, or change the voice and video settings to the input of your whatever mic you're using, because I can't hear you. But while he's doing that, for me, this is a surprise. I didn't see Dakota Kai winning, but like I said, I only watched much NXT. I expected someone like Mandy Rose to win, because as you said, she was champion for 174 days, and I know whenever I see she's doing really good promos, she's wrestling really good matches, so I really figured Mandy Rose would win this, but she only garnered 2 votes, which is kind of odd. But Dakota Kai was like almost unanimously the winner. But Slater, should Mike working now? Technical difficulties. I might have to go back to your. I think he was trying to switch to his computer. In the meantime, I don't know. Just chime in whenever you can, Slater, so we know that your mic is working. If you want to go back to, you might have remember, check your voice and video settings in Discord. Or Delisha, do you hear him, or does the chat hear him? Because I don't.
I didn't have our YouTube chat. I mean, the YouTube on. I can only hear him in.
Yeah, Discord, right? Well, yeah, because his voice thing is not even going off. Like the green light, if you look at the green bars around Discord, like whenever someone talks, his is not going off. So I don't think he's there. Like I think his audio settings got changed when he, I think, switched to his desktop now. So you might have to go back to your phone, Slater, or just, like I said, check your voice and video settings. Oh, I see now the headset sound is gone. I think he's working on it. All right. Let's go on to the next award. The next award, I believe, is mine. Is it mine? Yes. It's for the Male Superstar of the Year. This award is given to the Raw or SmackDown. Okay, thank you, Eric. The Raw or SmackDown Superstar that exemplifies the best of the year. And the nominees for Male Superstar of the Year begin with the Tribal Chief himself. Roman Reigns continued on his previous dominant year, successfully defending his championship against all comers. He took on such names as Daniel Bryan, Edge, Seth Rollins, Big E, and John Cena, and his year culminated in defeating Brock Lesnar in a title unification match at WrestleMania 38. Our second nominee is Bobby Lashley, who kicked off the year with successfully defending his championship and ending his feud with former champion Drew McIntyre. He then successfully defended against Kofi and Goldberg, but eventually lost to Big E, who cashed in his Money in the Bank shot. Lashley regained his title by defeating Lesnar, but lost it less than a month later. Our third nominee is the Visionary, Seth Rollins. Sorry, Seth freaking Rollins, which I hate calling him. The Visionary's year began with a prolonged feud with Cesaro. Rollins then stuck his nose into a match between Roman Reigns and Edge, kicking off a feud between he and Edge. After being drafted to Raw, Rollins would have numerous unsuccessful title opportunities, which was punctuated by a WrestleMania 38 loss to a returning Cody Rhodes. And our final nominee is Edge. Edge once again returned after a hiatus and immediately made his impact felt in the title picture, gaining a title shot against Reigns. Hold on, there's a... Weird. That's weird. Okay. Edge then feuded with Rollins before being drafted to Raw. Edge and Beth Phoenix then defeated Miz and Maurice to kick off the new year. However, this led to a new Edge who turned heel and defeated AJ Styles at WrestleMania 38. And the winner of the Male Superstar of the Year is Roman Reigns. And this was a very close, if not the closest, vote of the awards, where Roman Reigns garnered 4 votes and Seth Rollins garnered 3 votes. So this is super close, and I'm very surprised it was that close because I thought Roman Reigns pretty much dominated the last 2 years of wrestling, at least for the WWE side, and this is big. So, Slater, is your mic working now? Uh-oh. Still no go? Nope. All right. So Delisha, we'll go to you.
No worries.
Go ahead. What'd you think of the Male Superstar of the Year?
I don't think he's hearing you. I don't think he's hearing you, Slater.
Is he talk? Can you hear him?
In our chat. But the fact that you didn't react to it means you can't hear him.
Oh, he's talking right now?
Mm-hmm.
In Discord.
I hear you in our Discord. I don't have the volume on the YouTube.
Well, no one's gonna be able to hear him if I can't pick him up on Discord. I don't know why I can't pick him up on Discord. Now I can't hear you. Let me exit the call and come back. Maybe it's me.
I broke it. I'm sorry.
Now there you go. Now I hear him. I hear him. Okay. So what? We'll go to you first. Cause do you want to give your thoughts on the NXT? I don't know if you watch NXT, but the NXT the female next gen. What'd you think of that?
That's where I was gonna say. Sadly, have not watched the 2.0 NXT. I've been watching the
Uh, AEW, the
Oh,
opposing
okay.
team.
Okay. Well, not everyone can watch good product like us, so. All right, Delisha. All right, well, all right. So Slater, what's your thought about the male superstar of the year?
You gotta hand it to Roman. This definitely is going to be his year in the next few years. As for the coming year, though, I think it's finally gonna be the title's gonna drop, especially after his possible shoulder injury.
Yeah, I mean, he said he wrestled his first match recently, and then he did some promo off camera, which people have obviously got on camera. Now he's asking people to take that video down. But I mean, it's going to be an interesting year, and I'm really curious to see where his year goes because he's had such an amazing year. It's just I can't see him losing to anyone except for one certain person, which can eventually happen. And this is remind me to mention something from the show, The Young Rock, at the end of the show episode. If you guys don't remember, here in the chat, I think if Slater watches Young Rock, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, so the chat or you two can remind me at the end of the show to mention because I'm going to ask you guys what you're looking forward to this year, this next season of AfterMat. But Felicia, your thoughts on male superstar of the year?
Again, no shocker that it was great. David, since he's come back and it's good, he's on a whole different level than he was before. I do think the fact that I think maybe Rollins got the second vote because he's kind of been the guy on Raw. He's like been putting the wrong on the shoulder. He was the entertainment aspect of the last aspect. So I think that's maybe why they're not successful. Honestly, it could have come. I know clear question, clear whatever. Honestly, but everyone, not to say that either Lashley, Rollins, or everyone fucking really hates it from here, like someone
forgive me, but I don't remember anything of Rollins this whole year. Like I thought he was injured or something. I thought he was out this entire year, except for like feuding with Kevin Owens. I think he had like a tag team with Kevin Owens for like 5 minutes, and the Edge thing, obviously. Other than that, I don't.
The feud with, what I remember of it, Ron's year so far this year was feud with Owens, then Randy, and then teaming up with Owens, and after that, just Drip King.
See, like I could have sworn he got injured. The baby came, so that's why he was gone. Like I fully remember the Rollins Owens thing, the Edge thing, and then like doing the one-off match with Roman Reigns, and that's about it. And then whining about having a match at WrestleMania. Like his year wasn't that eventful for me, but I mean I thought he was just outshined by Roman Reigns. But I mean I guess that, it was apparently narrow vote, or unless it's Marks that voted. Who knows? Because to be honest, the three people who voted for Rollins are pretty much AEW watchers, so maybe that could be it too. I don't know.
I realized my camera's off this whole time.
Yes, it is.
Gotta.
Hopefully it goes.
Come on, turn on here.
While his camera's getting set, I think it's actually his. Is this your award? Yeah. Oh yeah. So pay-per-view of the year goes to the award for the best pay-per-view that we found most entertaining. This was originally Will's award, I believe, to present, but unfortunately, like I said, he couldn't make it. There he is, wearing an AEW shirt. I don't know how did you get past security? How did you get past security? I don't get it. It's like bringing a CM Punk sign to our Raw arenas. But yeah, so Will was originally supposed to cover this award, but now Slater will be covering it on his behalf. So go ahead, Slater.
Okay, for the nominees for pay-per-view of the year are nominee Money in the Bank. This was the night of Big E's grasp of the Money Bank briefcase and became a main event player. Roman Reigns successfully defended his Universal Championship from Edge and was interrupted by a surprising WWE return of John Cena. What's it? That was SummerSlam. The second nominee is WrestleMania Backlash. It was the night the Mysterios made history, becoming the first ever father and son tag team champions in WWE history. We also seen a classic Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and Cesaro. Third nominee is SummerSlam. We got Bobby Lashley facing Goldberg for the WWE Championship. The returning of Becky Lynch, who defeats Bianca Belair in 26 seconds for the SmackDown Women's Championship. John Cena taking on the Tribal Chief for the Universal Championship, and the return of the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Love how it's all caps on that too. Crown the final nominee, Crown Jewel, the crowning of a new king and queen of WWE, Xavier Woods and Selena Vega. An outstanding no-hold barred false count anywhere between Goldberg and Lashley. Hell in a Cell between Edge and Seth Rollins in the battle for the Universal Championship between Lesnar and Reigns. And the winner of the pay-per-view of the year is Money in the Bank.
Yeah, so I think what you're saying is about Money in the Bank is you're right. The in-ring return was at SummerSlam, but remember after I think Roman won at Money in the Bank, that's when Cena came out and surprised at the end to close the show out to surprise everyone. So that's what I think Will was alluding to in his description there.
Wait, was that when he rolled him up for the pin and just kind of like walked off? Like, yeah, I can do it.
No. This is when he just came back. He just like came back like to surprise everyone. Like as Money in the Bank was going off the air, Cena's music hit and he came out and shocked the world that he returned to wrestling.
Oh yeah. Okay, now.
So that's what it was. But this was. As for the votes, we got 4 votes for Money in the Bank, 2 votes for SummerSlam, and 1 vote for Crown Jewel, which I'm sure was Delisha. Just kidding, because she never votes for the Saudi ones. But I was surprised. WrestleMania I think we always talk about, or at least I always talk about how WrestleMania Backlash is always a kind of like a rehash of WrestleMania. It's kind of stupid. It's the same old matches. But I remember this year's Backlash was different from that, and it was really, really good. And I thought, like, oh wow, like maybe someone will vote for it, but no one voted for it. But still, it was nice to see it there for top pay-per-view because I thought it was a good year for WrestleMania Backlash. But Crown, and also seeing that Saudi pay-per-view up there, I think now that they're becoming more progressive with their rules and such, and like allowing the women to wrestle and all that, it's pretty cool. And we're seeing some great matches there now too. We even had to cover it for Elimination Chamber as well. So we're seeing great pay-per-views this year. Like I said, the product is getting better. Maybe because they have stiff company from other companies, stiff competition from other companies. But it's just I think it's a good time for wrestling. Like, despite whatever you watch, I think you're getting good product from wherever you watch. Felicia, your thoughts on pay-per-view?
All 3 of the 4 of these are great, but of course I only watch Crown Jewel from Backlash. I couldn't even watch it. But no, I think that Money in the Bank it was such a great card, and both of the Money in the Bank were like the market was great, and kind of like that Cena and then kind of leaving and go on. It was just great. The fields were all felt all over the field, and that last SummerSlam was really great. So it was really kind of tough a little bit to think of which one to go with, but feel my feelings on one thing that that's all I have. That's the majority of something.
Yeah, I mean, these are all really good players. Like I said, we had good product from everywhere. I don't know, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan, I believe, because I think like the strongest times back in the day when most of us were growing up is Monday Night Wars, right, with WWE or WWF back then and WCW, and that competition breeds fire and fury and all that kind of stuff. And so I feel like if you have competition, you're gonna have some good product, and that's what we're seeing now. All right, our next award goes.
I brag on enough for him wearing AEW, but like this, and we only cover WWE because that's the majority of what we watch in the group, but we still are fans.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just wanted to make sure I wore this today.
We lose it all. We just only cover one portion because then we would not have a life if we covered it.
Yep, the Monday Night Wars. All right, our next category is the match of the year, and is this me or? No, I mean I know it's me, but is it me because it's me or is it me because it's Will?
I have a list here actually.
I think this is me because this looks like
this is you.
Yeah, because this I'm looking at the script. It looks like my language. So okay, so the next the next award is the match of the year, which is given to what we feel is probably a 5-star match. Who cares what Dave Meltzer thinks? Because he never gives anything a good 5-star match. This is what we thought were great matches this year, and the winner will be the one that we consider probably a 5-star match. And the nominees are Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks at Crown Jewel. This match was a result of Sasha's no-show at SummerSlam, thus leading to Becky's return and subsequent defeat of Bianca Belair. The three women then all met at Riyadh to settle the feud amongst the three, which saw Becky walking out, retaining as the champion. The next match is Tommaso Ciampa versus Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly versus LA Knight at NXT. Samoa Joe's injury led him to forfeit the NXT Championship. And another note is to say that Von Wagner actually replaced Kyle O'Reilly, who was unable to participate in the match. So this is actually, he's a replacement. That's why you see Von Wagner's picture in the, or actually you actually see him in the picture. And after a grueling fatal 4-way, Ciampa was able to win the match, making him the 2-time NXT champion. Our next nominee is Edge versus Seth Rollins. At SummerSlam, the feud began when Rollins was unhappy with Edge's title opportunity immediately after returning from a hiatus. Rollins then cost Edge the match, which led to their match at SummerSlam. Edge went back to his brewed roots and gritty natures. He took on Rollins' onslaught and submitted Rollins to pick up the victory. The final nominee is Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 38. For weeks, Rollins tried to earn a match at WrestleMania 38, but was unsuccessful. In light of this, Mr. McMahon summoned Rollins to his office and granted him a match at Mania against an opponent of his own choosing. This ended up being the returning Cody Rhodes, and the two put on what many believe may be the best match of the event, with Rhodes coming out as the victor. And the winner of the match of the year goes to Edge versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. And that garnered 4 votes, where Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes garnered 2 votes, and Tommaso Ciampa versus Pete Dunne versus Von Wagner versus LA Knight garnered 1 vote. So we're gonna go to Slater for this one first. What did you think of the match of the paper? Yeah, the match of the year. Sorry.
Actually, I thought this was a really good one because first time I've ever been to a movie theater to watch a whole wrestling pay-per-view, and girlfriend next to me freaking out as soon as Brood's theme came on. I'm like, yes, this is the Edge I need. And just the match itself is also a classic, so can't even be mad at this pick.
Yeah, I feel like for all the nominees, like they were all great wrestlers, right? Sometimes once in a while you have someone who's a good showman but not a good wrestler. I feel like all the nominees for each match were great wrestlers, not just showmen, were great wrestlers. So it's good to see that it was actually wrestling that made the match of the year, not just like showmanship that made the match. So that's pretty cool to see. But like you said, that Brood entrance, which I noted in the nomination, is that's what made it for me. Like I love that Edge. I love the Brood years. I love those old. I love this new thing that's coming up that we're going to talk about probably towards the end of the show. This is awesome to see this kind of Edge, and I love seeing it. So I'm excited for that. Delisha, your thoughts for match of the year?
I think that the right match won of the nominees. But like you said, all of the really great matches. I do not want to see the highest. But and like you said, yeah, that coming up to that good group team stuff really stepped the tone for the type of Edge from Edge, so to speak. What we were gonna get in this match, and then going forward to what we're getting at the moment, and Seth just being who he is and helping whoever's in the ring with to put on a good show. I don't think. I mean, outside of like the unfortunateness of like the injuries he has calls, but we're past that now. He really can put on a good match with anyone. Right. It'd be really funny. Just from the promos alone, it would never happen. But in my head, if we saw Seth versus Becky, it would just be, I would die. But yeah, Edge versus Seth was great. Rollins versus Cody was great, and then the NXT championship match. All around, all good. This one was probably one of the harder ones for me to vote on, but I do think the right group, I guess, won.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other close match, obviously, besides the triple threat, was this Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes match. That was a good match. I kind of wasn't that excited until I saw him do the Cody cutter, and then I kind of popped for that. I thought that was a cool move. And other than that, like I was like, I thought I expected a lot more from those two, especially everyone talking up Cody and seeing him back when he was like Stardust and Cody Rhodes and all that, and handsome, dashing Cody Rhodes and all that kind of stuff. Seeing him back in the day, he was very athletic, and as we know, Seth Rollins is very athletic. So I think I expected so much, and I didn't get that until I saw that Cody cutter, and then I popped, and I was like, oh, that was really cool, and let's see that. But these two guys, like, I think I didn't expect as much from Edge, and that's why I probably voted for this, because Edge being older and stuff and injured, I didn't expect things. So, like, I think my expectations were kind of guided how I voted for this match. All right. Our next award is for the underused talent of the year, which is my favorite award. I think. This is one of the ones I suggested that I think. Sidewalk also texted me later saying, "Hey, how about doing an award someone underused talent?" But I remember when I first introduced this award, I was like, "Let's call it That's Mean the Corner Award," because I think it's a clever name for this. So this award goes to the superstar that is not really used that much, and we feel like the WD is really wasting their talent. So that's how I believe it should be viewed. And Alicia, I believe you are taking over this.
We have Mr. Mustafa Ali. After the disbandment of Retribution, Ali spent a portion of the year feuding with Ricochet, where they had a series of banger of matches on Saturday Night Main Event. He would then team up with Mansoor, remember him, eventually turning face, but after being drafted to SmackDown, he then berated and attacked Mansoor, going back to being a heel, which led them to a match at Crown Jewel in which he lost, and he hasn't really been on television since then, and publicly asked for his release in January, which reportedly to this day, as we are recording, has been denied. He still has about 2 years left on his contract, so we'll see what shall happen to this former cruiserweight. Next up will be Mr. Fight Owens fight Kevin Owens, who could turn the most basic of script given to him and turn into gold. And that's basically all WWE has done with him in the last year. Him and his buddy Seth Rollins followed around the tag team scene for a bit after neither of them were able to capture the WWE title. But at least he got his WrestleMania moment with his idol, Stone Cold Steve Austin, who will see the future, hopefully, to be a little bit brighter for Kevin Owens in this coming season. Next up, we have Ricochet. Since dropping to SmackDown, the human highlight reel has been making waves on Saturday Night Main Event, as we mentioned earlier, and on Twitter, just to get himself over with fans and keep himself in the limelight. But now, as the reigning IC champion, Ricochet is hoping for an upturn in one of the company's top baby faces. So again, we shall see if we get a turnaround in this upcoming season. And last, but certainly definitely not least, we have Alexa Bliss. Little Miss Bliss still has to recover from her fumble partnership with Fiend since last Mania. She would have some pretty forgivable feuds, the likes of Shayna Baszler and Charlotte Flair over a couple of times. And then when Flair tore up a Divine Billy doll apart, many speculated that we might be getting a return of the briefing Bliss, who we all love in here. So far, fans are still speculating, as Bliss has not made an appearance on television since participating in the Elimination Chamber. But congrats on her wedding, though. So again, much like all the other nominees and so many more we could have named, hopefully this next upcoming season we can have them off our list for next year, and we'll see what happens. But the winner is, or I don't know if you want to call it a winner in this category, is Alexa Bliss, who, like I said, unfortunately hasn't been on TV much. So she's definitely in the definition of other use is not being used. And I don't know what they're doing. Obviously, this last month, she was gearing up for her wedding, so we can understand that, sure. But even she seems frustrated from her Twitter or sub tweets on Twitter that she's also getting frustrated of not being on television and doing what she's loved and supposedly being paid to do. She's not doing it. But what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with the winning choice, and do all these nominees deserve to have a better framework in the future?
Yeah, so for me, I agree with Alexa Bliss. This was actually let me do the breakdown. Sorry, there was actually 3 votes for Alexa Bliss, 2 for Kevin Owens, 1 for Ricochet, and 1 for Mustafa Ali. So this was actually another close one for voting.
Everyone got a vote.
Everyone got a vote, yeah. So which is understandable for me. Mustafa Ali, I think, has been really underused, but like it's a shame for him, right? He kind of, but if you got to look at how things also work out for because of things, right? Because he was on the being catapulted to main event status, right? Until he got injured. And that's what kind of led up to Kofi Mania. That's what kind of like propelled Kofi Mania, right? So that was kind of a bad thing that turned into a really good thing for a lot of us Kofi fans. Would I like to see Mustafa Ali do it? Yeah, that was cool. But my boy Kofi finally got something done, and that was great to see. Welcome, Arrington. How are you? Kevin Owens, I don't think is really... I mean, he's underused, but I couldn't care less. I like Kevin Owens, but like you said, whenever you give him something, he knocks it out of the park, and that's great. Like, he doesn't need to be used to be great, right? The little that they give him, he, like you said, he knocks out of the park, and that's amazing. So him being on this award thing, it's iffy for me. But the whole thing, I love Stone Cold. I love Kevin Owens. I like Kevin Owens. I love Stone Cold, but that whole thing at WrestleMania was kind of stupid for me. I didn't need to see that. It wasted a main event. It wasted a main event. Austin's last match should have been against The Rock, and that's it. That's how it should have been. Then who's next? Oh, Ricochet, definitely underused. He was the IC Championship, and when's the last time you? I mean, I'm sure somebody has an answer for this, but when's the last time the IC Championship hasn't been defended at WrestleMania? Right? This is like so stupid. It's the most prestigious belt in my opinion, especially when the Miz holds it in the WWE. And it wasn't used at WrestleMania. That's so stupid, especially with the talent Ricochet has. He is a 6-star talent. You know, he's like the next AJ Styles. Maybe not as good on the mic, but I'm not that I ever hear him speak, so I don't even know. But, you know, he can be that level of great. And he has that talent in the ring as well. And finally, Alexa Bliss, who, you know, everyone knows I love Alexa Bliss. So congratulations to her for marrying Ryan Cabrera, because if it wasn't me, good for Ryan Cabrera. I liked Ryan Cabrera. And the Fiend is great. Like, the Fiend is great, and like we saw such great things that could have happened between these two, but it completely dropped the ball, especially with the Fiend as well. So, like, oh, dude, this Alexa Bliss thing is terrible. So that's why I felt like she was really wasted with her talent, her ability, and then the character she can portray. She can do anything. She's a great actress. So her being wasted. So I don't know. Slater, your thoughts?
So you kind of nailed it with Mustafa Ali's one, because that's where I was feeling like he was right on that top tier, and then he got hurt, and then after that he was just thrown to the wolves. Had that awesome opportunity during the Thunderdome where they were saying he was a hacker, which could have been a great storyline, but then they made Retribution, and then everyone's gone from Retribution, and then they kick him out of Retribution. I'm like, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden they come with that gimmick where he's supposed to be like a non-American or something like that. Can't remember. And now he's just like, yeah, I'm done. And I honestly can't blame him. And then for Owens, I agree. He really shouldn't be on this list because he knocks everything out of the park. I think actually underused a lot is Shayna Baszler, who also was on that top white hot, and then WrestleMania just after that just dropped. Ricochet, agree, 100%. Great talent. Probably needs to work on the mic and other than that, I don't know why they're not using him. Alexa Bliss, the Fiend thing, I knew as soon as Fiend was gone, it was going to affect her, and now we have no idea what's going to go on for that.
Oh, you just triggered her Amazon. Her Amazon device just went off because you said the name. But yeah, no. Yeah, I do agree with you. I feel like it's this is like, are you really a winner if you win this category? In my eyes, yes, because we acknowledge you, just like the now WWE Universe acknowledges Roman Reigns. But like I feel like, and like I know we don't really talk about the other companies, but now that we have our AEW correspondent here in Slatermaaan, I feel like we're seeing that in AEW as well, because they're getting so much talent, you know, like they're getting the leftovers from WWE now, so a lot of people are getting, you know, pushed aside as well there, I believe, and that's what happens when you have so much talent. That's why I like the brand split, and then having more belts, because then you give more time. I also like, remember I always like the brand split pay-per-views as well, but not having 2 a month. Leave them every other month like they usually do. That way people get showtime and you have more time to build up feuds. That is the best way to do it. But what do you think about that, Slater? About like, is AEW facing the same problems now? Are people being pushed aside because of so much signings and talent?
No, I don't disagree on that one. Um, I know like some of the talent that they gotten. Some have been on TV so far, some haven't. I know, for instance, Ruby Soho, aka Ruby Riot. She wasn't getting TV time a little bit after she lost that title match, but now she's back in that Owen Hart female tournament. See where that's going. God, there's so many now. I'm thinking, but I think how Tony Khan's gonna set it is if he announces something about Ring of Honor becoming live on TV, he could probably split half of the wrestlers to Ring of Honor, keep some on AEW, and work something around that, develop and be on TV. So see where it's going. It's still a brand new company, and I'm enjoying every second of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that WWE has, right? Where they have Raw, SmackDown, now NXT is like another thing. But it's just, even with all that, they still just focus on the same few people. And
Right.
it just sucks because, like I said, if you have a brand split and do separate pay-per-views, then you have time to build each character or each storyline just for themselves and give those people like the undercard. For like now that you have like superstars from both brands competing on a pay-per-view, you'll only see those top-tier talents, right? You won't see mid-tier or lower tier talents. But if you split them up, then the top tiers will be split on each card, and then the mid tier can go to each card, and the lower tier can be seen on each card. And that's what I want to see.
That's kind of why, and that's kind of one of like how AEW does its pay-per-views. So it's like one pay-per-view every 2 to 3 months, so it gives you that breather time and build storylines. While WWE is like pay-per-view here, pay-per-view here, pay-per-view here. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. WWE can keep those same amount of pay-per-views, but just change it to brand split, where one will be a Raw pay-per-view, then a SmackDown. That way you have a month and a half between each storyline. What gets sucks is that they get greedy and then they're like, let's put 2 pay-per-views into a month, and like that kills art. Like we're getting too overwhelmed by wrestling, and I don't know.
Right. 100%.
All right.
Burnout. Like,
Yeah.
not even just from people like talking about like being a viewer. It's like, oh my god, so much. I don't. And then we also know that WWE has a creative company, which when you have one guy with the be awesome, so it's kind of hard to get the talent like under the talent or quote unquote lower tier talent elevated because they try to focus on the more bigger names to go in to watch the Wonder Woman and all that. So like on the business side, you just kind of get it, but also you're just like, but you need to be building new people for the bigger talent to even like go against to create more interest. So it's a vicious cycle, honestly. But sometimes they hit it, sometimes they gotta miss, and we're here to talk about it every month.
So if you liked our two new categories, let us know. And if you see any new award categories we could have next year, just let us know, because we added promo of the year this year as well as underused talent, which I've actually called That's Me in the Corner. All right. The next award is the Feud of the Year, and this goes to the 2 individuals, or maybe more, stables, or whatever, that have put themselves above and beyond the rest of the roster to captivate our attention. The nominees are... Oh, this I believe was Will's... right? Was this Will's award? I'm guessing this is Will's award that I had to take over for. The first is Edge versus Seth Rollins. After being skipped over a title shot at Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins would cost Edge a championship match. They would clash first at SummerSlam in a singles match, and then a follow-up in a Crown Jewel in Hell in a Cell. The next nominee is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. After defeating Cena at SummerSlam, Roman is stunned when Brock Lesnar returns. Heyman's loyalty would come into question as Brock plays mind games and would get into the WWE Championship picture day 1 after Roman is pulled from the show. At Royal Rumble, Brock would lose the title after interference from Roman, but would win the Royal Rumble match and the WWE titles at the Chamber. Reigns and Lesnar would clash at Mania in a title unification match where Roman would reign supreme. Oh, fix the spelling mistake there. Okay. Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. At SummerSlam 2021, Becky Lynch made a shocking return and would win the SmackDown Women's Championship in 26 seconds. Belair would have to fight and climb, and at Elimination Chamber, she earned her shot at redemption. At WrestleMania, Bianca Belair would not let history repeat itself and would capture the Raw Women's Championship by defeating Becky Lynch at the greatest show of shows. And finally, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. The former brothers met in a battle of championship gold once again in the beginning of 2022. The Seth would play multiple mind games with Roman throughout January and throughout and at the Rumble. Seth Rollins made his entrance in a mind game for Roman by entering to the Shield theme with the Shield gear. Throughout the match, Rollins would keep the games going and would enrage Roman into disqualifying himself. And the winner of Feud of the Year goes to Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, and the vote count was so: 3 for Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, 2 for Edge versus Seth Rollins, 1 for Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair, and 1 for Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. So, Delisha, what do you think for the Feud of the Year? Was this well deserved?
I think that it was well deserved based on the entirely fact that it got me to care about Brock Lesnar for the first time in I don't know how long. They really did build up a really good feud for this match. No matter what you thought about the match in and of itself, these two are quote unquote at the height of their powers, so to speak. With Reigns, both of them just reinvigorating who they were. With Reigns reinvigorating his character, and Brock Lesnar being an actual character than just being, this MMA wrestling fighter piece. So like I said, it got me to care about this match that we've seen 7,000 times, and it felt like it was something new again. And the fact that these two were able to do that, I do think it deserved to be one of the Feud of the Years. And also, I think all the other nominees were definitely contenders for the feuds that we saw throughout the year as well, and they were all great. And now, but also throughout this whole podcast, every time I heard the word Seth Rollins, I just hear his laugh in my. Oh man, you just want to punch that guy in the face.
Slater, what do you think of Feud of the Year? You agree?
I wish I could mimic Seth Rollins' laugh, but I'll just do it right now.
It's kind of like the Green Goblin's laugh from Spider-Man. Yeah. That's what it reminds me of.
The Edge vs. Raw was really good. I liked how they kind of did, old school 2000s, like go into the house and everything. So that was cool to see. Brock versus Lesnar. It's the 1,000th time we've seen it. This one was actually the best run we've had. I'm going to get into that when it comes to the other part of the nominee. But Cowboy Brock is probably the best thing I've seen since Angle Brock years. And then you got Becky versus Bianca. Bianca deserved it, and I left the theater still very angry after that SummerSlam moment. And Seth versus Roman, God, hearing the Shield theme was just like, all right, either Mox is being here tonight, or this is like the best tease ever.
Yeah, it was good. Like I said, like with good matches, we're also gonna have some good feuds. And like Felicia always says, she loves her storyline, so it was great to see some good feuds throughout the year. Okay, our next award is a very special award that we love to give out every year, and with a special award, we like to invite a special guest to present the Beverly Monroe Female Superstar of the Year. It is the Hitman himself to honor his mother, Eric Monroe. Welcome back, Eric. It's good to see you.
So good to see you guys. I miss you guys. Once again, Felicia, congratulations to you. Oh, she's beautiful. All your Instagram stuff, so beautiful. So happy for you. But yeah, I'm so happy to see you guys.
And you're ready to present the award in honor of your mother for the Woman of the Year, or the Superstar of the Year, for the woman of your life.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so nominee number 1 is Becky Lynch. Becky made her shocking return at SummerSlam after she left to be a mother. She left the WWE universe with when their jaws dropped when she defeated champion Bianca Belair in fewer than 30 seconds. She remained a stalwart as the Raw Women's Champion until Belair exacted her revenge at WrestleMania 38. Nominee number 2 here is Liv Morgan. Even if Liv does not walk away with this award, she's most certainly the underdog of the year. She earned multiple championship opportunities, however, came up short each time. Her resilient nature and tenacity she displayed during her chase has elevated her in the eyes of the WWE Universe. And we have nominee number 3 Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair came off of one of the most successful years in WWE history, and this year she did not slow down. Her year was bookended by 2 championship wins at WrestleMania 37 and 38, respectively. She has lived up to her vow of taking on all comers and truly exemplifies she is EST of the WWE. And finally, nominee number 4, woo, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte used this year to inch closer to her father's championship record. Flair dominated the women's division on SmackDown, and she tried to implement her dominance by becoming the first person to win Royal Rumble as WWE champion. Despite her goal not coming to fruition at the Rumble, Flair was able to successfully retain her championship at WrestleMania 38. And the winner for Female Superstar of the Year 2022 is Bianca Belair.
Yes, very much deserved. And just to go show you, that's how long Eric has been away from wrestling. When he was around, it was still the WWF. Yeah, so the vote. This is actually one of the most lopsided victories we've had so far tonight, where Bianca Belair garnered 5 votes and Becky Lynch garnered 2 votes. So I think that's very representative of the years that they had, because I think they dominated both ends. They're only on one promotion together, I guess, if you think about it. Like, well, SmackDown then to Raw, if you think about it. But whatever. I mean, like they were together the entire year, pretty much, working together, and I feel like that really is a testament to, you know, how well they put on for the year, because they're the only 2 garnered votes for the category. But Eric, I don't know if you don't watch the product that much, but do you any idea of any of these women, or Bianca Belair at least?
Oh, I mean, of course, I know Charlotte Flair, who Charlotte Flair is. I've seen her wrestle. Becky Lynch. I mean, I can't speak to like who should have won the award, but I always thought Charlotte Flair was personally a draw.
Mm-hmm. She's definitely the draw for, you know, because of her name and all that, and obviously she's got great talent. But Bianca Belair, you got to see her, man. She is. I wasn't a buyer, and Delicio kept saying, "Oh, you got to see Bianca Belair, NXT, Bianca Belair." And I had thought she had the stupidest gimmick. And I'm like, what the hell is EST? I asked Delicio what EST was. I still hate the hair gimmick to this day. I think the hair gimmick is so stupid. But she is probably one of the best athletes. I don't even want to say female athletes. She's one of the best athletes I've ever seen. She like gorilla presses people, Eric, and carries them into the ring. Like, she'll gorilla press them from outside the ring and walk up the steps with them gorilla pressed and throw them into the ring.
Wow.
And yeah, she
like
does
warrior style gorilla, like warrior style.
Yes, warrior style gorilla press. She does like, and she can do like all the flips that Rey Mysterio and all that does, and land on her. She's got all the athleticism and everything. She's great on the mic. She's gorgeous. She's amazing. Just cut your hair. I mean, cut that hair gimmick. I hate the hair gimmick. It's the stupidest thing. Like, because like they said they what?
It's fun for look.
I know, but it's so stupid, because why don't we just use it against her? She uses it as a weapon, right? So I'm gonna cut off my arm and put it like a saw or a sword. Like, Drew McIntyre's gonna cut off his arm and put a sword as his arm, and that's his new arm. So now he can use that in the ring. Like, it's so stupid. They gotta try. They gotta try it. They're gonna try it. They should have tried it in the Walking Dead match that they had at Halloween, whatever that match was, when the Miz was in it and the zombies are surrounding the ring. Okay, WrestleMania Backlash. One of them should have cut off their hands and put like a sword or something at the edge of it, and used it and said, "Hey, this is part of my body now, so let me use it for the rest of the time I'm in the WWE." Yeah, that's my idea. But I think this is probably the most.
I'll send you a highlight video of Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is the most deserving person, not only this year but maybe ever, and that's a lot to say for me, because I don't really. I mean, I'm always for Alexa Bliss, and that's pretty much it. But Bianca Belair has really grown in my eyes and heart. She's become amazing, and this is probably the most deserving of the Beverly Monroe Female Superstar Award ever in my eyes, because she's really, really catapulted, dude. She is amazing in the ring, and like I said, on the mic. But you got to see her, man. That most worthy of your mother's award. Slater, your thoughts about the winner of this award?
100%. I do think Bianca Belair does deserve it. I've been watching her since the NXT when she was back then. With you, it's the hair. With me, it's just too much glitter. Way too much glitter. And then, other than that, yeah, she has the talent. She might just need to tweak just a little bit of it, but she's got the talent, the mic skills. I'm a Liv Morgan person, so it's like, damn, sad to see her lose. But that's just that. Becky Lynch, she's still recovering, I guess you could say, kind of like working out the kinks. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. But she's already impressive. Charlotte, land a moonsault, please. That's all I'm asking. Because you have the talent, you have the name, just land the moonsault right. But 100%, Bianca 100% deserves this award. There's no other female I think that deserves it other than her.
Yeah, as for the glitter, I think that glitter always weighs down her eyelashes. That's why her eyelashes always falls off every match. She finally got it right for WrestleMania. Liv Morgan grew up a few minutes away from me, so that's cool. It's my hometown love, so I would have to root for her nowadays. But like I said, Bianca Belair takes it away. And going from the EST to the greatest spokesperson for Bianca Belair, so I'm saving the best for last, the EST of this show, Delisha, who's been singing the praises of Bianca Belair since she was at Bianca Belair's birth. I don't know who's older, Delisha or Bianca Belair, but she was singing the praises at Bianca Belair's birth, saying, "This is the greatest birth I've ever seen," and she's followed Bianca Belair since then. Delisha, your thoughts on the winner of this Beverly Monroe Female Superstar of the Year?
I mean, goes to Bianca Belair. I mean, she won 2 back-to-back ladies. Of course. But honestly, I do think honestly, someone could make a case for each one of these ladies, honestly, which is why they wound up on our ballot in the first place. But I do think it had to go to either Belair or Lynch because they've been carrying the women's division on their back from both brands the whole year. Everyone's always been watching what they've been doing, or when is Bianca gonna get her title shot again? They kept circling each other and not quite beating again since that SummerSlam match, and to have that combination at WrestleMania, like you always say, I love my stories. It was just a great bookend from the horror that we watched. That was SummerSlam. It was the greatness of seeing Becky Lynch back to WTF, which is happening. But I love them both. I actually can say something positive about all of these. Charlotte, we will never ever disparage Charlotte's talent, her athleticism. She's just been maybe we get an overused category next year, but then she might win it all. She just been overused to where the point the fans she kind of got that we don't even want to cheer for you and do something great because we don't want to see one or two. And she just went away for a few moments, and or maybe took a singles loss every once in a while. That would bring up the chocolate, oh my gosh, that's what's happening. Maybe we can get back on her side, but she's still, like Eric, you were right, she still is a big draw, not just from her name, because people do enjoy seeing her athleticism, or they just want to boo her, so she still brings a draw either way. She is that, Roman Reigns polarizing figure character that I guess we're going to always have every generation. So she's going to be one of the top stars until she decides to.
Yeah, I can't find anyone who likes her other than for her name, right? I feel like I'm talking about Charlotte Flair, but who knows? Maybe we'll see. But with that said, thank you again, Eric, for joining us to honor your mother again, because this award will stay with us forever as long as we're still doing this show. But I noticed you. Oh, sorry, I was gonna say I noticed you're wearing a special shirt, so I'm kicking it over to you. Are we going to see your Fury soon? Because we do have a coming back of one of your favorite shows, one of my favorite shows. Are we going to see the Fury soon?
We might. We might. We'll know. We'll know if we're going to see it by July. Let's put it that way, July. But no matter what, I definitely cannot wait for a Night's Watch to return and us talk about it every week. I can't wait.
Yeah, so we're going to see if that goes through too, because I know Eric and Tom and Kimber are also busy with their lives now that they've moved away and have multiple jobs and both playing a band as well. So everyone's busy. Yeah, schedule's busy. So we'll see. As much as we love the show coming back, it's not the original show that we loved or the story that we loved, but it's the prequel. So we'll see how that goes and what we do. But it was so great seeing you. Thank you for joining us again. Thank you for honoring your mother. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at MMKoch200. And let me know what you think about anything.
Yeah, and all his details in the description below. Thank you again, Eric. He is the best there is, the best there. And look at that! Look, the EST was presented by the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
And finally, I just have to go off with Thanos is still the one true king.
Thank you, Eric,
Everybody, thank you.
for joining us. And I for his script, I made sure I put fewest in there, and I put it in all caps because I thought he'd enjoy that. When it came to the fewer, I wrote fewer than 30 seconds. That's what I wrote, and I put that all in caps. All right, to our next award. It goes for the Tag Team of the Year. I believe Delicia's covering. Is this yours again, Delicia, or is this Will's Delicia?
Yep.
No, it's yours.
Mine.
Okay, yeah, so this is the award given to the tag team that excelled this year, taking on all other competitors and standing strong.
Our nominees, the New Day, who has accomplished so much as a team, but in this last year, we saw them add some more accolades to their singles careers as Kobe continued to be part of that main event scene when he wasn't teaming with Woods or E. And then Woods got to live out a lifelong dream of becoming the King of the Ring winner back at Crown Jewel, unfortunately. But, still great for him. And, of course, Big E became the WWE Champion, which melted all of our hearts, all deserving. And we wish him well on his recovery. And our next team that was nominated is the RK Bro. No one thought that this team of Matt Riddle and Randy Orton would last this long. I still can't believe they formed together about, I believe, end of 2020 or beginning of 2021. Fans long theorized that Orton would turn on Riddle, but so far these two are going strong, and they're currently the holders of the Raw Tag Team titles. Our next team is the Usos. Since Money in the Bank, where they won their fifth SmackDown Tag Team Champion, their overall number, just the one SmackDown. The Usos have been running the show along with Roman Reigns to truly be the dominant force of the Bloodline that claims to be all along. And then we also have Seth freaking Rollins and Kevin Owens, who were thrown together after they both failed to catch the title. So they figured, why not? Let's go for the tag team belts and get some gold another way. But even though they were unsuccessful in attaining those belts, they both got to do highlight reels on the biggest station of all. The tremendous. Sorry, my cat. I think her talking about wrestling. Now trying to create his own arena. Well, they got to have highlight reels on the biggest station of all with WrestleMania. But the winner can only go to one team, and that is the rated R.
What the heck?
I do think, again, this is a team that on paper shouldn't work, but they've made it work for the last year or so, and it's been quite entertaining. And as you know with me, as I always say, when Randy Orton is interested, he is great, and he seems to be really loving. He's kind of like more laid back approach to being an entertainer than being the Viper Randy Orton heel persona that he's been for a while. So I've been enjoying them. I don't know how long we might have them for, depending on what happens on Backlash, but I have enjoyed all these teams actually this whole year, even though stuff is almost kind of goes really last minute, but all of them have great chemistry. Of course, New Day Usos, I think they're going to be on this tag team list until they retire. Because they're just that good, guys. They're just that good.
Yeah, so this award was actually another close one where RK Bro garnered 4 votes and the Usos garnered 3 votes. And like you said, the Usos are no surprise or slouches in this category because they have been nominated every year, like you said. And they've also won the award 3 out of 5 years possibly, except for the last 2 years. They won the first 3 years, I believe. And last year, I think Bayley and Sasha won, and this year RK Bro won, which is weird because we hate when people they put together 2 single superstars into a tag team, and those are our last 2 winners of them. For me, I don't really like them as a tag team. I love Randy Orton, Matt Riddle. I couldn't care less about. But it's amazing to see the work they put in together. They do put in some cool tag team, old school, when I see tag team wrestling, I like to see cutting the ring in half and doing some cool tandem moves. And they do crazy cool tag team tandem moves together, much like Sasha Banks and Naomi are doing nowadays too. They're doing some cool tag team tandem moves as well. So I love seeing that from tag teams, even though they're also 2 solo superstars put together as well. But these 2 great athletic guys, so I don't expect to see anything other than that from them. So, like you said, I didn't expect it to last long. It's lasting longer than I thought, but eventually it's gonna turn. Or I think I called this before with Nikki ASH, or I think she was Nikki Cross and Alexa, saying that Nikki would probably turn on Alexa because everyone expects Alexa to turn on her. But I think here everyone expects Randy to turn on Riddle. I think Riddle's gonna get frustrated and turn on Orton, and I think that would be cool to see. But congratulations to them because they deserved it in a very close vote. They definitely deserved it because the Usos, like you said, can get it every year. Slater, your thoughts?
I'm pretty sure Randy's on that herbal essence with Riddle. There's no way this team should work, but it works, and I love every second of it. It's just too hilarious, and I've liked Riddle since even before, and it's hilarious work and great wrestling work. Usos, New Day, obviously they're going to be on this list no matter what. But New Day did have a stellar year for Xavier to win King of the Ring, Kofi to have the title, and then for Big E to have the title. So just stellar year for those guys. Seth Rollins and Owens, though, holy crap. I didn't think that team was going to work either, but their wrestling was just that. I can't remember what match it was, but the power bomb into the curb stop. It was like some crazy double team move they worked on. I'm like, this can work. They could be a tag team that could work, and now we don't got it anymore.
Yeah, sometimes when you have these really cool singles moves, if you put them together to a tag team move, that is gonna blow it out of the water. It's gonna make the crowd pop, and that's what we did see from a bunch of these people.
It was just like kind of making me remember like the super kick to a pedigree. Like that's how well they set it up, and I was like, holy crap, that worked really well.
Our next award goes to the male next gen superstar of the year. This is award to the NXT superstar that captured the hearts of the Salas Stadium or Salas Full Sail Arena, whatever it's called, where NXT is held. The Performance Center. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the nominees are Braun Breaker. Breaker debuted in September, defeating LA Knight and immediately garnering a feud with the NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa. Despite losing his first shot, Brent led NXT 2.0 in a victory over NXT Black and Gold at War Games. Breaker then earned a rematch against Ciampa and defeated him, making him NXT champion. However, his success did not last long, as his year ended by losing the title to Dolph Ziggler. The next nominee, Cameron Grimes. The richest man in NXT came face to face with the $1 Million Man. Grimes feuded with the legend, and LA Knight ultimately winning the $1 Million Championship. Grimes ultimately befriended the WWE Hall of Famer and used that momentum to win the North American Championship to cap off his year. Our next nominee, Tommaso Ciampa, began his year teaming with Timothy Thatcher and earned a title shot against MSK, but were ultimately defeated. Following this defeat, Ciampa returned to the singles stage and immediately won his second NXT Championship in a fatal 4-way match. The good times did not last because he racked up successive defeats at War Games, New Year's Evil, and Stand and Deliver, thus ending his time in NXT. Our final nominee is Walter. Walter began his year by successfully defending his championship against Ciampa and Rampage bound immediately after. After 870 days, Walter lost to Dragunov at NXT TakeOver 36. Walter stood by his Imperium stablemates, seeing success through the year, but ended with a loss to Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship. And the winner of the male next-gen Superstar of the Year is Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa garnered 4 votes, Braun Breaker garnered 2 votes, and Walter garnered 1 vote. I don't have much to say about this because I feel like the people... It was mostly Tommaso Ciampa and Walter that were dominated their respective brands of NXT, I should say. And then Braun Breaker, obviously 2.0 is a newer thing, and he dominated all that. So they all dominated their own respective things, and I feel like Tommaso Ciampa, it's a good send-off for him leaving NXT, going out as the male next-gen Superstar of the Year, because now this is new generation for him to come up to the main roster and thing. So I feel it's a very well-deserved award. We're going to go to Slater first, and I know Delisha chopped me in the bid for the NXT stuff, but let's hear from Slater first real quickly.
Sir, it is Gunter, sir, not Walter. Oh, gosh, slap me for ever doing that. He's always going to be Walter no matter what, and that man is a beast. I would not want to walk into a dark alley. Ciampa, well-deserved, has always been a big Ciampa guy since him and Gargano as a tag team. the singles. Just he carried NXT with on his back. Grimes, I'm not really sure of. I haven't seen much of his work, and Braun Breaker being a Steiner really helps, and his wrestling is just on par with them as when they were young as the Steiner brothers. So yeah, he definitely has a career coming up for him, but for this year it has to be Ciampa, I think.
Delisha, your thoughts for NXT, your beloved brand?
It's still one of my favorite ones to watch. I do think they all can make it like much like women. You can all make a case for them as well. Cameron Grimes has just this charisma and funness about him that the fans just love to get behind. Even when he was a heel, they love to boo him. When he's a face, they love to cheer him. So I do think he did deserve to be on this list. Or if you can maybe switch him out with either an LA Knight or a Carmella Hayes. So it kind of like had its revolving door with that fourth spot. Braun Breaker, he's not a favorite of mine, but I do understand why he's a favorite of a lot of people. He does have that wrestling and bike work that everyone loves, and could definitely we all thought it was gonna happen like a couple weeks ago that he would be on Raw. He has been on Raw, just been representing NXT, but you could definitely see him in the main event scene on Raw, SmackDown, somewhere down the line. Ciampa, he is one of the last people of that beloved black and gold era of NXT. And last year, he has put it on his back to help the other guys elevate themselves, so that when he has eventually left, they're in good hands. They can take the reins of NXT now and propel it to something greater than it was before, hopefully. Walter, again, I'm not calling him Gunter. I'm sorry. He's a beast of a man who moves like an old school wrestler, but can bring it to you like the new guys can. And I'm excited to see what they do with him now that he's transitioned on. And he's been a dominant force in NXT UK. He's dominated his short time on NXT North America. And again, just excited to see what he's going to do as well. And all they do is have to go and also amazing. So one of them Instagram. It's an amazing positive story about working out and his daughter.
There's one thing I was looking at about that though. Seeing Triple H come out with Ciampa at the end was just a tearjerker. Like, don't leave yet. Just take in the moment. Taking that whole long moment, and then I was like, no, come on, Trip.
I'm not supposed to be crying at takeovers, okay?
And he also did the the water thing in the beginning too, didn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they do that. I don't know. It's not like they're leaving forever, right? I mean, we didn't know that, I guess, or I didn't know that. I don't know the backstage stuff about NXT stuff. But if they knew he was coming to the main rosters, it's not that big of a deal. But okay, I guess NXT is his home, so.
Well, you would have to be a legit watcher of NXT from that era of, basically from almost like Sami Zayn's era up until now, to where NXT was kind of more like another independent wrestling company, similar to AEW. That is the most that is.
Oh, like Ring of Honor, yeah. How people leave Ring of Honor.
Yeah, over the last couple of years, and when they ushered in that new wave where you had Ciampa, Gargano, the Ascension when it was good, the Revival before they got. Basically, a lot of really great talent. That a couple, Evan Owens,
Andrade and all those guys, yeah.
Yeah, so it was really when we didn't know that he was being moved on just as of yet, but we know that they were prepping him to because he's been appearing on Raw. So, and then on the last NXT, he basically said this was his last NXT match. So it's more of a send off for thank you for all your work for carrying this brand on your back these last couple of years, and hopefully go ahead and be great on Raw. So yeah, it was more of a just thank you, much like they gave to Gargano back at War Games, much like they've done to a couple of guys when we know they are going up and not being a surprise call over. I like calling it a call over, not a call up, because technically, they keep saying it's for a time that it was a third brand, so I like saying call over to Raw or SmackDown, but force to have it, we just keep saying call up. But yeah, I think it was well deserved.
All right. our next award is the Champion of the Year, which goes to the person or the champion we believe exemplified or pretty much brought out the championship, made the championship what it was, or the championship made them who they were. And I think Slater is covering this. I don't know if this is Slater's thing or is it Will's.
Yeah, it was mine.
Okay. Are there any more Will Awards left, or did we do them all?
I think we got
I got-
us all.
no,
Or
Okay.
no,
Oh, you
one more.
you got oh NXT 10 is Will's. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Slater.
All right. The nominees for Champion of the Year. The nominees of Champion of the Year are Roman Reigns, after having a still very ongoing dominant year as Universal Title Champion since back in August of 2020. He's now also the current WWE Champion after defeating Brock Lesnar at the current WrestleMania and the winner take all match. This has to be by far one of the best runs he's had his entire career. The second nominee is Cowboy Brock Lesnar, which what made Brock Lesnar's title run so memorable this time is just him being Brock. Not just let someone else talk for me, let me do my talking, let me be silly. And it's been the reminiscence of him versus Kurt Angle, which was my favorite Brock. Third nominee is Becky Lynch, who returned at SummerSlam at a surprise opponent against Bianca Belair for Raw's Women's title and won a very shocking quick match. I think it was 62 seconds. And then becoming big time Bex and having a good run for that for a while. And she just was, 15 months gone or something after recovery. And she just hasn't skipped a beat since. Just a little bit twerks. And the final nominee is Bobby Lashley after what felt like nothing was really going for Bobby after him coming back from TNA. He started just going on a run with MVP, then having I just forgot their name. Their team with
Hurt Locker?
And, yeah, the Hurt Lock.
Her business.
Or was it her business?
No,
Yeah,
her business.
Yeah. And after that, he just started getting match after match, dominating until he had one loss. But then coming out, beating the Miz with the title, and just dominating that entire year, having a great feud. Drew McIntyre, and hopefully, maybe one day, retain that title. And the winner of the Champion of the Year is Roman, the Tribal Chief Reigns.
In a shocking, maybe not shocking, but first time ever, we have a unanimous victor. Roman Reigns garnered all 7 votes from our journalist. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. 7 votes for Roman Reigns. No one else got a vote. And this is very much deserved, I believe, because it is just, like, he's been carrying the company pretty much for the last 2 years and stuff. So, and now that he has, like I said, if anyone deserved the unification of the championship, it is him. I didn't want them to unify the championships, but if they did, he's the one who deserved it, rightfully so, and I agree with him being champion of the year. Delisha?
Yeah, we've been saying it all night long that he transformed himself for the greater of his character and for the company. Like you said, he carried it on, he carried it on his back for the last year and a half, I believe. And he just put in work after work and acing it every time. And I'm really, and every time he wins, it really clears up that moment of, oh my gosh, who's going to be the one to take it off of him? Because eventually it's going to have to happen.
Right, and maybe we'll get to that at the end for our finishers. So, but yeah, this is probably the easiest one to go with, I believe, because like Slater said, he held it pretty much the entire since WWE began. Since Eric watched at WWF, Roman Reigns has been champion pretty much. It seems like. But yeah, so our next title is the Next Gen Tag Team of the Year, which is I think Will's final award. Delisha will be covering, given to the team in NXT that, I guess, excelled above every other tag team in NXT. Oh wait, are you on mute? You're on mute, Delisha. Hold on. Start again.
Sorry.
All right.
And our nominees are, firstly, the group of Imperium, which consists of Walter, Fabian Eichner, and Marcel Barthel, who tour both NXT and NXT UK. Walter is the longest reigning NXT UK champion in history of 870-day reign. Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barthel are also 2-time NXT champion, tag team champions. Next up, we have the Creed brothers, kind of one of the newest breeds to this group. Coming out of the Diamond Mine stable, Brutus and Julius Creed have done well for themselves in their short stint on NXT. They are the 2022 Dusty Rhodes Classic winners, and we look forward to seeing what they're going to do in the future. And then we have MSK, which consists of Nash Carter and Wes Lee, who debuted during the 2021 Dusty Rhodes Classic, which they would win. And they also are both two-time tag team champions, last winning it at Stand and Deliver. And then we have Toxic Attraction. A toxic storm will come over NXT Women's Division in the late summer of 2021 when Mandy Rose, Jacy Jayne, and Gigi Dolan joined forces. And on January 4th at New Year's Evil, Jane and Dolan would win the NXT Women's Tag Championship. And later that night, Mandy would be crowned NXT Women's Championship. And our winner is Imperium, which is not too big of a shock, as when you put those three together, they're going to be a dominant force. They kind of were, if you did watch NXT UK into their NXT North American run, they kind of were like the bloodline, without being related, of the NXT verse, and where they just dominated whoever they went through, especially if you have, Walter at the helm of your stable. You don't want to lose, because you might lose your trust and the result of not listening to what the ring general has to say. But do you guys agree that Imperium should have won this award? And what do you think about some of the other nominees that were voted on in this category?
I'm going to kick it over to Slater first, but before I do, let me just give you the breakdown of the victory. Imperium garnered 3 votes to win. Toxic Attraction garnered 2 votes. The Creed brothers garnered 1 vote, and MSK also garnered 1 vote. So a very good close vote for all of them, but Imperium slightly edged out Toxic Attraction, 3 votes to 2. Go ahead, Slater.
It looked like Gunther slapped out the whole competition. I mean, Imperium had a dominant NXT year, and if you go back even further in their career as a team, Alexander Wolf, Walter, and I cannot think of the other 2 guys' name right now because I haven't watched NXT for a while to remember their names. And I honestly could not know who the other 3 teams were until you just announced them. I was like, Toxic Attraction, who's that? MSK, not sure. You know what? I'm going with my thoughts and going with Imperium. I know them. They're dominant and love to see it.
For me, I don't watch NXT UK, so I don't know much about. I mean, I know of Imperium because I see them a lot. And whenever I do see them, they're dominating, especially because Walter's usually winning whenever I see him. But for me, I thought for NXT, definitely, I guess we can consider NXT UK part of NXT, so I guess it makes sense that they won. But I thought really that. Oh wait, don't spoil anything. Don't spoil anything, Arrington. If you're talking about Raw, don't spoil anything. I thought Toxic Attraction would win. I've seen them all through NXT as champions, except for when they just recently lost, but then they won it back right away. So for me, I thought they would win because I love dominant stables, which we could say Imperium is as well. I just don't watch enough NXT UK to know. So for me, I thought it was going to be Toxic Attraction because, like Alex said, I love stables. I love dominant stables, so I do enjoy that so much. But anyway, for me, I love Gigi Dolan, so I voted for Toxic Attraction. Unfortunately, they lost, so that's what we can say. All right, we gotta start putting up some thing where people please don't spoil. Put it to go through pin it to the comments, pin it to the chat. Don't spoil Raw because we're not watching it yet. All right, the next award are the final totally presented award is Moment of the Year. So we started with Slater. I think we're ending with Slater for the final total presented award, and it goes to the Moment of the Year for the kind of the oh my god kind of thing that we we have or the holy shit thing that we have in the France chant. The moment is kind of what culminates the year and makes us be wow, that was great. Oh, thank God the year was capped off by this or whatever. Go ahead, Slater. What are the nominees?
The nominees for Moment of the Year. The nominees for Moment of the Year starts off with The Undertaker entering the Hall of Fame. And what else is there to be said about Undertaker's career? There's 30 plus years into this man's career of loyalty, some of the greatest matches we ever seen, some by far possibly the greatest match of all time against the one and only Mr. WrestleMania, HBK, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25 or 26, depending on which one you like. Both by far greatest match of all time, and it's just a well-deserved moment. And seeing that did bring a tear to my eye at the Hall of Fame. The second nominee would be Big E winning the title. And if you've been a Big E follower since 2013 when he first came to NXT, seeing him finally get that title was just a monumental moment because he has held the NXT title and the Intercontinental title, tag team title, making him also a Triple Crown winner and the 33rd Triple Crown winner. Sorry, what to say it. And just for him, that's a huge moment. Hopefully, he can get it back. Covered, my boy. The third nominee would be Stone Cold returning after the 19 years since WrestleMania 19. Or it was yeah. I think I said that right. Since WrestleMania 19 against The Rock. And we all expected him just to come out, do a little talking, smack talk, stunner, I'm out, drink some beers. But in Swerve, 10-minute match with Owens just felt like if you were a kid from the Attitude Era, you feel like you were 10 years old once again watching Stone Cold kick ass, drink beer, and stun, win a match. And the final nominee would be the shocker return of Cody Rhodes after his departure from All Elite Wrestling, which he took the pay cut, no longer EVP, showed up being the greatest, worst kept secret at WrestleMania, show up against Seth freaking Rollins and have a stellar match. And the winner of the moment of the year is The Undertaker entering the Hall of Fame. Did we say winning the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. All right, yeah. For us, like we thought, I thought this was probably a shoo-in, but it was actually 3 votes for Undertaker going to the Hall of Fame, 2 votes for Cody Rhodes' return, 1 vote for Stone Cold returning, and 1 vote for Big E title win. So it's very, very split amongst all of the votes. But I felt like Undertaker winning is, well deserved because it's probably the greatest career in WWE will ever see. Or WWF/WWE that we'll ever see. So it's much deserved to see that everyone's waiting for this moment to happen, and it finally happened. I think, besides like him, for the younger people, the people from back in the day, so the older people, Hulk Hogan was their idol, right? Seeing him going to the Hall of Fame might have meant something to them. And then Undertaker's probably the next biggest name for them. And then Attitude Era people would have Stone Cold and The Rock and such like that, but the 2 names, like Hogan was the early WWF, and then Undertaker's been there so long that he spanned WWF to WWE, dominating during that time. So he is, if you think WWF, WWE, you think of him, and he is well deserved to get the Hall of Fame. Delisha, your thoughts?
He has, like you said, a historical career, one of the greatest characters in wrestling history. No matter what company you work for, everyone knows who The Undertaker is. And the fact that he was able to have a progressive career from the very first televised Monday Night Raw to all the way up to, I don't remember his last match, and to just being a standard figure for not only WWE but for wrestling in general is a great way. He deserves, of course, like 5 years in, you knew this guy was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer whenever he was ready to go into it, and rightfully so. And I don't know, he's been a big part of my wrestling journey, and I don't care what you say, guys. I did love the American Badass character. Don't care. It was cool for, I don't remember how old I was.
We're both giving that thumbs down. That's 4 thumbs down.
I don't care. I still love it. No, definitely deserved that he being in the Hall of Fame.
Also, I have to make a note that Slater said the greatest WrestleMania match or match of all time was that HBK versus Shawn Michaels. I don't think he was old enough to remember or old enough to enjoy the Playboy Bunny evening gown match between Tori Wilson and Stacey Keibler against Katana Baker and whoever the other girl was. So featuring Jonathan Coachman as the referee. So I mean, you're missing great talent there as well, Slater. So you got make sure you watch all the tape before you make judgment statements like that. Yeah. So, but also Ricky Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage WrestleMania 3 is also great too. But can't forget that Playboy evening gown match from whatever WrestleMania that was. All right. That brings us to our final award of the year, of the season, I guess, is the Superstar of the Year. We're not going to go over all the nominees again because there's just the nominees from the male and female Superstar side, so I'll just tell you who they are. We won't be reading the description for all of them because we've already done that in the past. The nominees are Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and Edge. And the winner of the Superstar of the Year, and I believe this might be for the first time ever, sweeping every category that they've been a nominee in, is Roman Reigns. He won it, which is actually, this is very much reminiscent of the male Superstar of the Year, because the only people who garnered votes were Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. And in the male Superstar of the Year, Roman Reigns got 4 votes, Seth Rollins got 3 votes. This time around, Seth Rollins got 2 votes, and Roman Reigns got 5 votes. So someone changed their mind, going from male Superstar of the Year to all the Superstars of the Year. So he dominated a little bit this more, but 5-2, Roman Reigns very much deserved, because, like we said, he's been carrying the company for the last 2 years. Seems like he is the tribal chief, and he's greatness on a different level. He's living God mode right now, as his shirt says, and his shirts have been getting progressively better as well, right? From the tribal chief, head of the table, needle mover, and each little needle had a little main event, mid carder, main eventer. It's just the detail that goes into his shirts are fantastic. The bloodline shirt as well. And then when Paul Heyman left it, they had a little cross out. Then he came back and they took him off the cross out. And now the God mode shirt. I gotta start getting all the shirts if they're on sale or whatever, because they have been great. He has been great. This year has been Roman Reigns' year. Even last year you could say has been, but this year more so. And he did sweep every award that he was in, and I think that's the first time that's ever happened in AfterMat. So, Delisha, you've been covering the awards for 5 years now. Have you seen any dominant performance like this we've seen from a Roman Reigns?
None to mine. I feel like we've always been very deep in the Superstars that we pick. But it just goes to show, like we've been saying all night, he just turned it up to another level, and he really is the tribal chief, man. He really is sitting on top, and so we must acknowledge him. So we did, and now he's won all his credit.
And I'm going to go to Slater in a second. I just want to chime in one more time and say that we went from saying this guy's been forced down our throats to being like, we can't get enough of this guy. I feel like this. I think this is what Vince McMahon saw him to be and could be. His mic work and his ring work wasn't as great, but he worked on it. He really worked on it, and he took advice and all that kind of stuff. And now the sky is the limit for him. It seems like he's shattered that. If he's in God mode, he's higher than this guy, right? So he is just on a different level. He's a different universe. He is the WWE universe, and they have acknowledged him as well. So Slater, you've covered award in the past as well. How do you see Roman Reigns as Superstar of the Year? Do you agree? Disagree?
Acknowledge him. I gotta admit, if you remember me, I hated Roman Reigns, and it even went beyond hate after the Undertaker match in WrestleMania. Get this man off my screen now. But I won't say it was a great thing for him to take the break for his medical reasons. Worst case scenario, thank God he beat leukemia, but him to be able to take that break and just show up during I think it was Fiend versus Braun Strowman match, and just dominate late rest, you're like, holy crap. Wait, is this going to be the same face Roman we're going to get? And then Paul Heyman showing up with him, you're like, okay, I can dig this. This is someone he needs, someone to talk on the mic for him. And then from him having Paul Heyman, and also himself, I cannot believe I'm going to say this, it made me slightly a Roman fan. Slightly.
Yeah, he as much as Bianca Belair deserved Female Superstar of the Year, I think Roman obviously deserved male, and on top of that, Superstar of the Year, because the company is him now. Like, he is rightfully the
Yeah.
company, and it's well deserved, and it's not failing. Like, it's doing very well. It's thriving, and we're seeing, even though we're seeing some matches that have been repeated, like, there's still fresh storylines behind it, and that's what's great to see. But yeah,
I was saying it's kind of comparable. Like, both him trying to carry the company on WWE end and seeing Omega from AEW carrying the company on his end with how holding his moniker, all titles, and seeing Roman is parallel. And love them both, but definitely you cannot deny Roman has dominated this year, and it's 50-50 between those two who really are best superstar of the year or wrestler in the year.
yeah. Because you got to use different terminology depending on which brand you're in, as Cody Cody Rhodes learned on last week's Monday Night Raw, because I did watch that, so that was great. And Miz handled it very well as well, so good for Miz too. Because Miz is, you know what? That's another person even though Miz has been on the spotlight a lot, I feel he's another underused person, because I feel like he should be always in the mid card or title shot. Like, I feel like, but we'll see how his future goes. But with that said, we're gonna go with our finishers, and I'm going to start with Slater, our guest, and be like, what are you looking forward to this coming? So what we're going to consider season 6 of AfterMat, not of the AfterMat show, but for the WWE programming and all that. What storylines or what are you looking forward to this year, coming season 6? So from Raw to WrestleMania 39.
Big thing I'm hoping for, obviously, is Cody Rhodes. Seeing what they're going to give him. Because for him to leave a company where they gave him everything he ever wanted, no travel, EVP, all of that, to now they're going to be traveling again. The wife's at home, you have a daughter. It's better all pay off. If he doesn't win the Universal or WWE title within this year, then I don't know what he decided. What was he thinking? So that I want to see. I want to see Asuka come back, or Shayna Baszler just go on a dominant run again and actually win a title, because I really am a big fan of Shayna Baszler over Ronda. And so SmackDown, obviously I want Big E to come back healthy, hopefully, and then get his title back. Or I'm not sure who else is really on SmackDown that can take on Roman at this time. Unless, and I also want Boogs to recover, because man, that sucked. They should be tag team champions today.
Yeah, that
for women. I just forgot who was SmackDown Women's Champion.
Charlotte Flair. How can you forget Charlotte Flair?
Because I tried not to think about Charlotte Flair. I tried not to think of Charlotte. She just turned into the Roman. I just threw her off my screen. Anyone, just not her. And I guess I got to start watching NXT again, because I am way out of the loop.
All right, Delisha, what are you looking forward to this season 6 of the AfterMat?
Looking forward to seeing more of Roman be dominant, and don't know if it'll happen this year or at a certain event next year if he will lose the belt. I don't know if this is a Becky 2-belt situation, to where not where he might drop one, so USA can still have their big title. That I don't know. I don't really know exactly what WWE has planned for the actual titles being unified, but I'm curious. I am curious to see where Becky goes from here after losing the title. I mean, she's still gonna be still relevant, and she's gonna make work with whatever. Maybe she will go to SmackDown and finish her business with Ronda, or vice versa. I don't know. And it's once again, we are due for another tag team resurgence in the tag team scene, but maybe with this unification, depending on how WWE wants to handle unifying titles and how that's going to work on 2 separate channels of brands and stuff. We still need that resurgence, because we're still getting the same matches over and over and over again. And no matter how good the teams are, you still want to see some fresh air, some fresh faces, so to speak. So hopefully, in both divisions, women and men, I'm hoping that we can get a nice little resurgence on that end, because tag team is a cornerstone of the wrestling genre, and WWE doesn't seem to like tag team wrestling. I don't understand, but yeah, and I think those are the big. Oh, I'm really curious to see what Edge is going to be doing. I love him as a face, but he does his best work as a heel, and so I'm excited to see what he's got going forward with this new stable of his. Oh, and you're supposed to tell us.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah,
even though us three know about the Young Rock stuff. Please,
thank you.
I,
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to end off with. But my first thing, like you just said right now, is with Edge, right? I love stables. So I love seeing great stables. I love seeing the Brood stables. So like new Brood, you can call it. Brood 2.0. I don't know what you want. Brood 3.0. Whatever you want to call it. Whatever they want to call it. Them together. And maybe adding like a Tommaso Ciampa. And maybe adding a Rhea Ripley. That would be really cool, seeing that. Even in Liv Morgan. Either Liv or Rhea Ripley. I think either of them in the stable. Maybe Liv, sorry. I'm putting their names together now. Maybe putting Liv on herself solo, going back for the title run. That would be great to see. So maybe putting Rhea Ripley in the stable would be great. So that the Edge stable's my most important thing on that side of that. If it, nude, the new Brood, the nude, Entertain says. Yeah, that would be cool. And then for the other side of things is, yes. So we saw, if you watched Young Rock, if you're not, I'm sorry, this is going to be a spoiler. In the latest episode, the middle Rock, like they have the Young Rock, Middle Rock, and the older Rock. And then actually the oldest Rock. There are 4 Rocks, I guess. Modern day Rock, or actually future Rock, because this takes place in 2030 something. So it would be, I don't know, whatever. The one that's not in Miami, I guess. It's the one. Oh, maybe it was one in Miami. Actually, it is the one in Miami. So it's the second oldest Rock, I guess. He's sitting on the couch watching like the wrestling match or something, watching TV, and all of a sudden a little kid comes and starts putting him in a chokehold. And he goes, "Acknowledge me!" And he goes, "Well, that's my cousin Joe," and it's supposed to be Joe Anoa'i, which is Roman Reigns' character, Roman Reigns, and he's like, "Come on, wrestle me now." He goes, and then Rock goes, "I can't wrestle me. We got to wrestle something more special, like WrestleMania." And then they both look at the camera. So that was a really nice homage or tip of the cap to the fans who really want to see Roman versus The Rock, and I think that was very cleverly done. So if we see this man right there, the real tribal chief of that family, face Roman and then lose to Roman. Like, as much as I love The Rock, I think it wouldn't do anything if The Rock won, right? Roman has to be elevated past The Rock now because he's the future. I love seeing part-timers. I love seeing Brock as a champion, but for what's best for business is Roman Reigns now, right? And for the future at this time. Unless The Rock can take off from his 4,000 movies, 36 hours of workout a day, and all that kind of stuff, I don't see him coming back for a full-time schedule or even a part-time schedule. He doesn't have part-time. He doesn't have partial time. He doesn't have any time. So, him coming out back just for a match would be a lot for him, so it would be great to see. I can only see that at WrestleMania, but he can't win it. As much as I want The Rock to win, he can't win that match, and that's probably the biggest thing. If we could talk about this 1 year from today or whatever, about Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, that's gonna be awesome. That would probably be my moment of the year, the match of the year, everything of the year for me at least. We'll see how it goes. But, like I said, as much as for all the marks out there, I'd love to see Cody Rhodes do good. I did always like Cody Rhodes, except when he was Stardust. I think I've always enjoyed Cody Rhodes, especially when he was in was it not Evolution? Was it called Legacy? I think it was called Legacy. With $1 Million Man's son as well as Randy Orton. I started that new group. I really enjoyed that, and I think they even put Davey Boy Smith in for a little bit. But yeah, that was like I like I said, I love stables and I love tradition, right? So seeing the Roman Reigns and the Anoa'i family being carried on, seeing Cody Rhodes and that, and I loved his entrance at I don't know, I didn't watch enough AEW. I've seen some of his entrances, but I didn't know what he says. But something's like there's more than one family, wrestling family, or whatever he says. That was cool, and then his music hit, and it was actually I recognized his AEW music and all that. So that was awesome. And then he had like him giving that little belt, like his weight belt to the kid out there. That like it meant so much to the like seeing that like traditional stuff and kind of reminded me to the days that Bret Hart would give his, sunglasses to the kids when I was a kid, seeing that and all that. Those are the moments, those are the moments that make wrestling what it is. And I love seeing tradition and legacy and all that kind of stuff, as well as stables and all that. So that's what I want to see. Great stable from Edge, tradition from Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, all that kind of stuff. And I think we have a bright future this year. I hope with COVID happening, that might have been, it was terrible, but it forced the superstars to another level, I believe, because they had to pull something out of themselves because they had no audience to feed off of. They had to elevate all of them, and Slater was saying earlier, it was terrible to see what happened to, I keep on saying Samoa Joe, because he's Samoan and his name is Joe, but Roman Reigns. It's terrible to see what happened to Roman Reigns, with his leukemia, but that might have been what was best. He got some time off, he recuperated, and he came back stronger than ever. And that's what the WWE Universe, as well as WWE programming, has done. With that COVID, that had that lull with no audience and on everything, it forced them to get better within themselves without an audience. Then the Thunderdome, some feedback, but now you have everything back and it's all firing on all cylinders, and we're going full steam ahead, and it could give us a very promising next year for season 6 to look forward to, starting with WrestleMania Backlash.
There was one more subtleness to the hopeful build-up of Brock versus Roman, which was on WWE Evil series or documentary. I guess it was series on Peacock, to where on the Roman Reigns episode, I think it was like the last maybe 2 minutes or so, they were saying again how we were saying they were going to Rumble. But they so interested. It was like, but is he good enough to beat The Rock though? Or or is he as good as The Rock? Just throwing in those little somewhat. I don't know if that happened organically or if they drew it as hey, throw this line in, so we can sort of subconsciously, or so we can have that video play that first. We do have it for the video package for figure. So that was just another subtleness to this whole bringing. Hopefully match that.
Yeah, I feel like their stories have very much mirrored each other, with people hating The Rock at first too, right? Until he's put into the Nation of Domination, then that's where he really thrived and became his own, much like Roman Reigns. He even though he's part of the Shield at first, then he went on his own and people didn't like him. Then putting back Paul Heyman and the Bloodline, that really made him and then he got to be himself, where he's slow and methodical, whereas as opposed to the fast-paced thing of what Slater was saying before about when he challenged Cena to the promos earlier on, he was terrible, but then when he does slow, methodical promos, that's more his element, and he took on his own character, and that really showed and elevated him. But like we said, it's been a great year. We're looking forward to a great next year. So with that said, Slater, where can we find you, and what have you been up to?
Mainly on Twitter at Slatermaaan.com, or however you do Twitter. Twitch, I'm still on a long hiatus until I get everything in this whole room set up and whole family thing eventually. Be back on Twitch. Other than that, I forgot the second half of that question.
Oh no, that's pretty much what have you been up to, and that's where can we find you? Yeah, so you answered both of them there. Yeah.
Pretty much that's it.
Yeah. So his details are down below. His actual Twitter, not what the WWE Twitter. It's at Slatermaaan, right? And so it's down there, as well as his Twitch URL is also in the description below. So make sure you check him out. Delisha, where can we find you?
Instagram at DeliciaRenee. You can also find me on YouTube, Delisha Renee TV, in which I am doing vlog style of my first year as a first time mom. In case you don't know, I just recently had a baby, a first child. You might have heard in the background at the beginning of this episode. I'm not sure how much of the might call that. And also still doing my journey of continuing a healthy lifestyle. So if you like those type of videos, check me out.
And all her descriptions are.
Congratulations, also.
Thank you.
All her descriptions are in the in the details below, as well as Eric, who joined us earlier. His details are in the description below as well. As for me, you can always find me here on the Kingslayer Network. I'm taking a break from streaming games. Like I said, I'm only going to stream games that I really want to play and enjoy with you guys. And But I'll still be always doing AfterMat over here after every pay-per-view. So with that said, you'll see us next time on May 9th for WrestleMania Backlash, which will be on May 8th. So yeah, that's the next time you'll see us for that. But I want to thank all of you guys, everyone who joined us tonight and throughout the first 5 years of the show. We had we're still going strong for 5 years. We get a lot of great support and feedback in our chats and all that from you guys and how much you love it. And I'm glad to see some of you guys who joined us in chat here now, like Slater, as well as Will and Eric and all of them. Eric, who's been a founder of the show, but I'm saying like Will and Skye, who also joins us as well. Some of you other people who are shy to get on. Entertain also joined us as well on camera, but we got to get someone like Big Time who always talks in the background. Bubba maybe as well. Sidewalk, get you guys on here and discuss your wrestling loves and hates and all that kind of stuff. We know Big Time loves Roman Reigns, and he bought every single one of his shirts. So that I would have loved to see him on the show doing that. But all you guys making the wrestling community great, man. It's so fun to be part of it and argue and tease each other about AEW and WWE and all that kind of stuff. And TNA, if we have any of those fans out there, probably don't, but make yourself known if you want. It's always fun. Like, I always love banter in our wrestling chat that we're on Twitter. Like, we're always teasing each other about the battle between AEW and WWE. It's all in good fun. Why not have great wrestling wherever we watch it? It's always fun to watch that kind of stuff. So, great time to be a wrestling fan. If you enjoyed this and you enjoy wrestling, come talk to us anytime. Our DMs are usually open. I think most of our DMs are open. So talk to us about wrestling and come to the show. You can be on it and all that and talk about wrestling. And it's always been fun. So once again, I want to thank Slater for joining us. Thank Eric for joining us. Delisha, thank you for a great 5 years. And at least another 5 more years to come, hopefully. Until then, guys, be the champion. No, keep slamming the haters and be the champion of your dreams. We'll see you next time.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays.